They were married for years, you feel me? They still live to this day. It was like she had got me a whole spot and everything, like you know what I mean?
Damn, she got you a spot.
But she got me a spot, but Buddy paying for her to go to law school, all this. You
He
need to get
Biggie.
through traffic early and shit. Like, you know, it'd be so much traffic, so I need to really leave like an hour and a half early so I can get to school in time and shit. But really, she was just coming through there so I can jump in and tear up before she go to school.
You don't be worried about like what if her man comes to your house and nothing like
I
that?
don't worry about them type of problem, period. Them niggas know not to play with me like, like hell no.
Hey, I don't know if nobody know it or not, but that was Trouble. Trouble is a rapper from Atlanta that was murdered. He was murdered like what, a month or two ago, because he had sex with another man's woman in his house. The man came home, bust through the door, beat up the woman, and in the midst of beating up the woman, he ended up shooting him and killing him. You feel me? But in this video, he's bragging about having sex with other women.
Then that was she was locked in. They were married for years. You feel me? They still live to this day. It was like she had got me a whole.
Hey, Salaka, if I could, when I first seen this video, I ain't know that was Trouble. You know what I'm saying? And then when cause I was just gonna ask, was that same brother that got shot in Atlanta over sleeping with another man's woman? And you just answered the question. Like, that's crazy. Talking about and you hear the pride in his voice. Talking about, them niggas know not to play with me. You know what I'm saying? That's why that nigga shot you.
He was Trouble. He was a bunch of trouble, but he named himself Trouble, making you think he was some type of gangster. This nigga was a fornicator. He wasn't a gangster. Otherwise, what? Why he dead? Why you dead and not him?
Right.
You this tough Atlanta gangster, blood or whatever, but you died. He's still alive. You had sex with his woman. Cheated, you know, broke up his home, whatever. That wasn't no gangster shit. That wasn't gangster, nigga. That was emotional, feminine. You know how many women it is in Atlanta? Forget all of the stereotypes about all the stereotypes about the homosexuality and stuff like that. Yeah, that's true. But you could attest to that. Remember when you said you went to Atlanta, you said y'all was in the club having a good time. You feel me?
Hey, you hear me?
You feel me?
Hey, it's a lot here. You hear me?
That's single. You choose to deal with a sister that's living with a man. They on bad terms at the time. And you supposed to be gangster. That's not gangster. That's emotional.
Right.
Man. He died for that. He did.
She got me a spot.
That's from being raised by his mama.
Yes. You know his daddy wouldn't know it. His daddy would have never approved of that.
Nope.
Trouble older than us. Trouble gotta be somewhere like 36, 37. So that means his father grew up in an era where they didn't play that. So he would have never taught him to do that.
You need to get through traffic early and shit. Like, you know, it'd be so much traffic, so I need to really leave like an hour and a half early so I can get to school in time and shit. But really, she just coming through there so I can jump in and tear up before she go to school.
You don't be worried about like what if her man comes to your house and nothing like that?
I don't worry about them type of problem, period. Them niggas know not to play with me like.
So them niggas know not to play with him, but he dead. He dead and gone because he went to have sex with another man's woman.
And you see who he's talking to, trying to show off in front of.
Yeah,
trying to show off in front of a couple women.
And some hoes, right? Angela Lee
right.
and the co-host on that lip service shit, they both hoes. All they do is ask for provocative and fornicating ass questions. That's all they don't even ask righteous questions. They always ask like what type of fornicating you've been doing. That's all they want to know about. But yeah, if I could, you could give me Mark 12 and 30 through 31.
Okay. It's the book of Mark, chapter 12, verse 30. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. This is the first commandment.
Right.
Verse 31.
If you love the Lord thy God with all your heart, that being the first commandment, that means you're going to live like him. You basically, the book of Psalms, I can't think of the exact chapter and verse, but I'm going to paraphrase. It says, ye are gods, but you shall die like men. You feel me? Trouble is a god in this earth, but he died like a man. You feel me? He died like a man because he wanted to live like the children of men. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we are gods in this earth, man. That's what we are, man. We are gods in this earth, man. We is the authority. But if we keep living like our oppressor, doing all this fornicating like our oppressor, man, we gonna die like men, man. And the Lord thy God say, with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy mind, with all thy strength. This is the first commandment, man. To love him, man. We supposed to be walking this earth like we God. You feel me? Like we his representation. You go ahead.
Verse 31. And the second is like, namely this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
Love
There
thy
is
neighbor.
no other commandment like love thy neighbor as thyself.
Love thy neighbor as thyself. If Trouble loved his brother, man, and his sister, which is the woman he was dealing with, he would have never dealt with her. If he loved them is your neighbors, your family, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, not no Chinese man that live next door to your house. It's talking about the people that's in your family. And if Trouble loved the people in his family, he would have never had sex with that woman because he knew she had a man. He knew the man lived there. And he respected that man because that's like his brother. That's his self. He wouldn't want nobody doing that to him. You feel me? That's the whole point. If you treat people like you want to be treated, you will live a way more prosperous and longer life than you ever could even imagine, man. But instead, he wanted to treat that man like an opposition when that's his brother. He treated that sister like a hoe when that was his sister. And he ended up dying for that, man. You go ahead and finish it out.
And there is none other commandment greater than these.
And there ain't no other commandment greater than this because this is the blueprint behind us building a strong nation. Looking at another Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian like yourself. You feel me? You see that man, woman, you say, nah, man, she bad, but I'm going to be honest with you. I ain't dealing with her. I'm cool. Because if that was my woman, I wouldn't want nobody doing me like that. That's all it is. People so selfish. Just look at life as I wouldn't want nobody to do me like that. That's all you got to do to be a righteous person, man. To be righteous. If you finna make a decision, just think about if you would want somebody to do you like that. And you can never go wrong. You will never be able to go wrong. But yeah, that's all I had on that, unless you had something.
Let me get Ecclesiasticus 9:9. Cause I'm gonna piggyback off of everything you just said. You know what I'm saying? If that brother loved that brother like himself and loved that sister like himself, then he would have never done that brother dirty like that. Would have never treated his sister like a hoe. You know what I'm saying? Or even thought she was a hoe, even where he could even be in that situation. You know what I'm saying? If you just love your brother, you know what I'm saying? If you love your brother, all this so-called black on black crime would be non-existent if you love your brother as you love yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you love your sister as you love yourself, there would be no hoes out here because you wouldn't deal with a hoe. You know what I'm saying? All these hoes is hoes because men love hoes. You know what I'm saying? When men stop loving hoes, these hoes would turn back into women.
Right. They'll take off the lingerie with the
Right.
I don't know
because they know ain't no man gonna deal with her if she a hoe. Ain't no man gonna deal with her. You know what I'm saying? And once they know that, they'll stop being hoes.
Women in the club with lingerie on and Michael Jordan sneakers. That shit is the funniest shit.
You feel me? Ain't got nobody clothes on. They out there in wrestling suits and you know what I'm saying? All these tight ass clothes. Modesty just out the goddamn window. You can go ahead though.
All right, Ecclesiasticus 9:9. Sit not at all with another man's wife.
Sit not at all with another man's wife. Don't entertain that bitch. Don't try to be with her. Don't try to lay with her, sleep with her. Don't even sit with another man's wife. Go ahead.
Nor sit down with her in thine arms.
Don't hug her. Don't sit down with her and you know what I'm saying. Put your arm around her, Netflix and chill. None of that garbage. Go ahead.
And spend not thy money with her as the wine.
Don't buy that bitch no drinks. Trying to get no draws. None of that. Go ahead.
Lest thine heart incline unto her.
Go ahead.
And so through thy desire thou fall into destruction.
and that's exactly what happened. That nigga thought he could lay with another man's wife and wanted to brag about it and boast about it on to two other hoes. You know what I'm saying? Want to brag and boast about it. Thought he was Mr. Untouchable until he got touched. You know what I'm saying? He's no longer with us right now. He fell into his own destruction because he wanted to entertain another man's woman.